need to nurture an environment that's supportive, where feedback is openly encouraged. And that's not just positive feedback, saying thank you to your staff for the things that they do, rather than taking the attitude of, well, you get paid, don't you? I'm paying you your salary, I'm paying you your hourly rate, so what do you need a thanks for? That's what you're here for. You're here to work. And when you work, I pay you. So that's kind of it. This is a lot more than just a business transaction. If someone's done something well, for example, thank them for it, congratulate them on it, and work with them to help them do it even better next time. Just because someone's succeeded or excelled at something doesn't mean there isn't further to go in terms of the quality and the level that they can play at. So congratulate them and build on that success, because that's how that's how people grow and move forward. And the environment's really, really important, and that's down to the mix of people that you employ. But a lot of it is down to, do you have an environment where people feel supported? And do you have an environment where feedback is actively and openly encouraged to be given and received? Because there's two problems with feedback. And the first one is that people don't want to give it. The second one is that people don't want to receive it. And that position is exactly what's going to cause zero-level growth in your business. And that's not healthy for anybody. Next, you have to be really honest with your staff about their performance. And this kind of ties into the previous point about feedback. You don't leave issues until they've escalated and become a really big problem for you as a business owner. If you've got a problem, even if it's something that's niggling you, that you're kind of thinking, oh, well, I don't know if I'm being a bit silly about this, I don't know if I'm taking this too personally, or looking at this in the wrong way, or maybe I'm misinterpreting it, so I won't say anything, I'll just let it slide, and we'll kind of see how things get on. That is a recipe for disaster. If you've got an issue, whether you think you're being silly or not, whether you think you're overthinking it or not, speak to the person involved, speak to the person concerned, because it might be that you can have a quick 30-second chat that just highlights for you that actually there was a piece of information you didn't have that was causing you to see this in an unhelpful way and not in its true light. And that 30-second conversation can instantly put your mind at rest, and then perpetuates that positive working relationship moving forwards. All that happens when we harbour grudges or harbour issues that we're not dealing with our staff is that they build up in our minds. And remember, it might be a small issue with this one member of staff, but if you've got a team of 10, 20 or 30 staff, if you've got one small issue with 30 staff, that's a big headache. So don't let it get to that point. It's very, very important that when you have an issue, or you think you have an issue, not even if you definitely have an issue, but when you think you have an issue, you tackle it head on. Don't be afraid. Don't push it to the back. Don't push it to the back of your mind. You must tackle it straight away. As soon as you know it's an issue, you need to be putting things in place to deal with that. And part of this is being honest with your staff about their performance. If you feel that they're underperforming, they need to know that. They deserve that feedback. And a big problem is that business owners and entrepreneurs and managers as well, they don't want to give that feedback to their staff because they're worried that it's going to cause animosity. They're worried that it's going to cause an argument. They're worried that that staff member will be put down or pissed off by it. But really, what I find is completely the opposite, is that actually staff feel like they've just been shat on. If you have an issue or someone isn't performing up to par, and you don't tell that person and you don't work with that person to help them improve or help move them along to something that's more suited to them, you're actually doing your staff a disservice. And I've had this in the past where I've not wanted to deal with issues with my staff members, and then I found out when I have that those staff have actually said to me, well, why didn't you say something? Like, if I'd have known, I could have done X, Y, and Z. If I'd have known, if you'd have said something, I could have read a book, I could have done a course, I could have worked with you to improve my performance in this area. And I'm just gutted that I've been doing it wrong for so long, so many weeks, so many months, sometimes so many years, and nothing's been said because the business owner or the manager is just hoping that somehow they'll figure it out on their own and eventually they'll come right, or they'll just leave the business. That is completely the wrong way to look at it. You need to be focused and you need to give them the feedback that they need to help them grow. And that's your difficult job as a manager. That's why you're the business owner. That's why you're the entrepreneur. That's why you're the manager. It's because you have the skills, the power, the ability, and the knowledge and everything else to help bring people up to speed, to help mentor them to be the best that they can be and to be quality employees. If you're not dealing with this stuff head on, if you're not working with your staff members and your team to help raise them up to a higher level, then you're going to end up spending a lot of money through recruitment, if you're paying an agency a fee, for example, that could be £5,000, it could be £10,000, just to hire one quality member of staff. And even then, you've got no idea if that person is going to work out or not. Then you've got all the onboarding costs, you've got the HR onboarding costs, you've got the training costs, familiarizing them with your company. And every time you move through another staff member, you have to go through that whole process again, and you incur all that cost all over again. So as a quick recap, everybody wants to come to work to achieve and succeed. The first thing you need to do is to make sure that you have clear, concise, measurable goals and targets for your staff based around the top 3 high income or highest income generating tasks for that given employee, for that given role. Secondly, you have to facilitate empowerment over disempowerment as a result of micromanagement. Empower your employees to make the mistakes they need to make to learn and grow. This is super, super important. Don't stand over their shoulders. Don't wrap them in cotton wool and try and protect them from everything, because what happens then is you have zero growth, and that's not healthy for you, it's not healthy for them, and it's definitely not healthy for your business. And finally, you have to be completely honest with your staff about how they're performing in their role. Tell them if they're not doing a good job and tell them how they can do it better. Tell them if they're doing a great job and tell them how they can do it better. Both are really, really important. It doesn't matter if someone is failing you or really impressing you and succeeding. The feedback should always be, yes, you're doing this well, you're doing this not so well, and this is how we can move you up to the next level. Super, super important. And you must deal with issues immediately. Don't let stuff fester. If you've got an issue or a potential issue, or even if you're thinking somewhat negatively about a situation surrounding an employee or a certain team, speak to them about it. Conversation is key. Get it out in the open, get it dealt with, and make sure that you understand them and that they understand you, both in terms of what you expect from each other and how you're thinking, how you're viewing the situation too. Why would you do all this? Well, ultimately because this is going to get you better engagement, it's going to get you a high level of motivation in your staff and in your team. It's going to get you super amazing results. This is going to 10x your results if you're not already doing this stuff. And ultimately, it's going to save you a shitload of money through being able to better retain your employees rather than having to recruit all the time, rehire and retrain. So I hope you found that valuable today, guys. My name's Jamie Keeling from Optimise Me, and I'll speak to you soon.